Yo, what's up, Ride Nation? Back at you with another video on today. This is Raw Detroit. Make sure you hit that subscription button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell so that you'll be notified whenever we put up an upload. And also, make sure you hit that like button. It's free and it don't cost you a thing. All right, guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into our video installment talking about these motivated Lions. Now, you got two guys right now that are motivated. They came into the season with a lot of hope and a lot of expectations and a lot of lofty goals. And DeAndre Swift definitely, man, set some goals for himself. He said that he wanted to be able to get 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving. Now, he may fall short of getting the yards receiving because it's just too many running backs that the Detroit Lions use. And the Lions don't give DeAndre Swift enough carries to be able to do it. Or should I say they don't give him enough touches for him to ultimately be able to get that goal. So I think he'll fall short of that. But I definitely think that he can rush over 1,000 yards. DeAndre Swift looked very, very good, very crisp with his runs, very sharp. And I love seeing what he's doing because definitely, man, the Lions need somebody to explode this season. And why not it be DeAndre Swift? You know, when the Lions first drafted Swift, you know, he came into situations that were messed up. He came into a situation where he pretty much had to share duties with Kerryon Johnson, and then in the second season, he had to share responsibilities with Kerryon Johnson as well as Adrian Peterson. He shared the load with, and it's kind of hard to be the focal point as a running back being drafted in the second round. Getting the touches and getting the looks, but also, you know, Swift was hurt. I believe in year 2, he ended up getting hurt. And a couple times in his career, he's been banged up a little bit. But at the same time, you want to see Swift be motivated. You want to see him set those goals. And nothing is wrong. You know, even if you fall short of your goal, at least you can say that you tried. But I definitely think that it will be tough for Swift to get over 1,000 yards receiving because the touches is just not there for him to ultimately to be able to do the things that he wants to do. But now he's only 856 yards away from having a 1,000-yard season. There's going to be a lot of high hopes for him to do it and to be able to pull it off because the Lions have not had a 1,000-yard running back since Reggie Bush did it in 2013. So you know I'm pulling for DeAndre Swift to get over 1,000 yards. The Lions need to continue to feed him, man. Continue to make DeAndre Swift the focal point of this offense because he, by far, is one of the most talented players on the offensive side of the ball. And you need to make sure that you are feeding this guy the ball. To me, for DeAndre Swift to be able to be dangerous and do all the things that we know that he's capable of doing, he should be touching that ball, man, anywhere between 20 to 25 times in a game. Maybe it may be 20 carries, maybe 5 catches out of the backfield, or it could be a mixture of however they want to do it. But he should be at least touching that ball, man, 20 to 25 times a game. That's how explosive DeAndre Swift is. And the Lions, you want to get the best out of your young running back. He's not on no snap count. He doesn't need to be on a snap count. The last game that the Lions played in against the Eagles, DeAndre Swift could have had, just imagine, guys, just imagine this. If DeAndre Swift had 25 carries in that game or 22 carries, this dude could have had well over 200 yards rushing. But the Lions just don't stick with what's working. The run game was working, so you just got to continue to ground and pound that football down the Eagles' throat. But they didn't do that. They went away from it and started passing the ball. And then that's when all things started turning for the Lions for the worst. And eventually you end up losing the game by 3 points. But I think that Swift needs, in order for him to be more effective and in order for him to be one of the top running backs in the league, he's going to have to get more touches. And I know that Jamal Williams is not a guy that's going to explode down the field or go down the field 45 yards or 50-yard scamper. He's not going to do that. He's more like a ground and pound guy. He's going to get the tough yards. He's the guy that's going to get the touchdown by the goal line and stuff like that. And DeAndre Swift is capable of getting touchdowns by the goal line. He's done it many times for the Lions. So the Lions just got to make sure they feed their young running back, man. I think DeAndre Swift is probably the hungriest that he's ever been, man. And I want to see this dude get more touches, man. I think he only had like what, 6 to 8 carries or something like that at halftime. So you got to give DeAndre Swift, and the only reason why he got to 144 yards, which was a career best for him, is because he ripped off a long run, a 50-yard run. So when you're ripping off runs like that, of course you're gonna be able to rush over 100 and some yards off not that many carries. So Lions, man, you gotta feed DeAndre Swift that football. Continue to give this man the football, because he is going to do some great things when that ball is in his hand. I trust DeAndre Swift with the football being in his hands. And that's something that you want to see. You want to see him get better. Even from the things that Deuce Staley was telling him and stuff like that, encouraging them about, playing through injuries and learning what a true injury is, and learning what, to be just, banged up. All players going into the season, it's a long season. You're going to get banged up, especially playing the running back position, because you get hit a lot. But I definitely think that Swift as long as he can stay healthy, I think that Swift goes over 1,000 yards this season. And I think he'll finally break the drought that we've had at running back. We've had a drought for a long time, and we want to see that snapped. Last time you had a 1,000-yard rusher was Reggie Bush, and he did that in 2013. And now here we are sitting in 2022, still without a running back that has not been able to get over 1,000 yards. So shout out to DeAndre Swift for having a career best last week against the Eagles. And I think that the best is yet to come. The more carries he's going to go with Swift, the more opportunity he get, he's going to be better. So they just need to continue to feed him the ball. You got to continue to feed that beast the ball. That's what they got to continue to do. Now, let's slide over to Jeffrey Okudah. Mr. Okudah, man. Didn't hear any negative things from Okudah. Okudah came out there and pretty much balled out. Didn't know how he was going to play against either A.J. Brown or whoever he had to guard. Devontae Smith. You didn't know who was going to show up. But Jeffrey Okudah showed up. He had one PBU. And pretty much, his side was pretty much locked down. He pretty much, I think he was targeted about 4 times. And I believe that Devontae Smith, I don't even think that he caught a ball. So Jeffrey Okudah, I know his motivation comes from a lot of people pretty much dogging him out and saying that he's this and he's a bust and this and that. And, you hear the, I'm sure Jeffrey Okudah hears this stuff, man. But you only thing you have to do is, man, just let that be fuel to the fire, man, and go out there and play your game. Play the way you know how to play. So I got to give a shout out to Jeffrey Okudah for going out against the Eagles and playing some good football. Now, the thing with Okudah is going to be health. Also, just like it is with DeAndre Swift, it's going to be the same thing with him, because both of these guys have been injured. So basically, it's just, can these guys make it through a full NFL season? Can these guys make it through all the games? Can these guys play at a high level through all the games? Can Okudah continually to be consistent with being at that corner? Because we know that the cornerback spot is one of the most toughest spots to have or to play in the NFL. Because if you're a receiver, you can go the whole game without not catching the ball, and then you might catch a 60-yarder or a 30-yard touchdown, and everybody think you the next, you're the next Randy Moss. But if you are Jeffrey Okudah and you give up a big play for 60, 70 yards, that's what people are going to remember. They don't remember you shutting down the guy the whole game. They just remember the fact that you gave up a 60-yard touchdown. So with Okudah, only thing he needs to continue to do is be Okudah Island and go out there and play with confidence. That's the only thing that Jeffrey Okudah needs to continue to do, is play with confidence, play with assurance that he's going to go out there and make plays. And if you make a bad play, don't get down on yourself. Just continue to play with confidence, because we want to see Jeffrey Okudah play at a high level, because we need that. You need this defense to get better because we know the weak area on this team on the defense is probably the interior in the middle, the interior linemen. And I'm not talking about Hutchinson or Harris. I'm talking about the defensive tackles, the guys that play the 3 technique and stuff like that. That's probably a weakness for us right now. And then the area with the linebackers. Now, Malcolm Rodriguez is doing his thing. You know, yeah, I saw the hip toss and things of that nature, but it's only one game. So if Malcolm Rodriguez can continue to play at a high level and continue to go out there and play smart football, I think he'll be fine. But you got to eventually add some linebackers to help this game. If Malcolm Rodriguez is the starting middle linebacker, then eventually you're going to have to go get 2 guys. If you're in that 4-3 defense, you're going to have to get 2 other guys that can ball out and that are very athletic and can cover tight ends, because that's what we heard at. We heard at covering tight ends, and we heard at having a linebacker that can fly through these gaps or fly out on the outside and stop the run. So definitely that's something that we definitely need. But Malcolm Rodriguez is doing his thing. So definitely shout out to him. You know, especially being a 6th-round pick. You don't imagine a guy like that going out there doing what he's doing. But at the same time, when you're hungry and you want to play, hey, you're going to go out there and make plays because you want to prove to the coaches that you belong. And that's the same that goes with Jeffrey Okudah. Right now, he just got to prove to himself that he can play in this league. He has to prove to himself that he can stay healthy. Because Jeffrey Okudah has only played, now I think this is his 11th game that he's played in 3 years. So you really, really want Jeffrey Okudah. You're rooting for him. You should be rooting for him if you're a Detroit Lions fan, for this guy to play a full season in the NFL, man. Because, you know, when Jeffrey Okudah played against the Arizona Cardinals, he played pretty decent. He gave up a couple plays as a rookie, but I remember him getting an interception in that game. And he was like, okay. You know, if he gets a little bit more physical, you know what I'm saying, get a little bit more handsy with the receivers, I think that he'll get better ultimately. But the biggest thing for Okudah is just being able to be consistent. He has to remain consistent, and he has to go out there and play at a high level, because truly he is supposed to be the number 1 corner on this team, and Amani Oruwariye is supposed to be the number 2 guy. Amani had to step in and fill in for Jeffrey Okudah last season, and he did a decent job. Is Amani going to give up plays? Yes. You know, he's going to get beat sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Is Jeffrey Okudah going to get beat sometimes? Yes. So people, you know, sometimes we just need to calm down a little bit. Corners are going to give up big plays every now and then. You're not going to be able to stop every single thing. But when it's your turn to make a play, you make that play. When you got a chance to break on the ball, you break on the ball. There's a chance to not just bat the ball down, but get an interception, you get the interception. So, you know, so we gotta kind of, you know, we gotta let Jeffrey Okudah, man, grow into a man when it comes to playing that cornerback position on this team. Let him grow into being that man that he needs to be for this team, because he's going to make his mistakes. He's going to have his bumps and all of that stuff, because pretty much if you really look at it, it's like his 2nd year in the NFL, because he really didn't go and he really hasn't played a lot of games in the NFL. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I just want this dude to stay healthy. I want him to be consistent. And I understand the game of football, that he's not going to be able to stop every receiver in the league. He's not going to be able to shut down everybody. But as long as he's staying with guys and he's making plays and breaking up the football and just playing at a high level, I think that that's going to help the Lions tremendously. And I think that it's going to help them get better with their pass defense, because ultimately that's what you want to get better with. You want to get better in your secondary, man. With the safeties, you want to get better with the corners. And you also want to get better, too, with the linebackers as well, making plays. You want to see these guys make plays. So I know that this guy is motivated to be Okudah Island this season. And I know that Okudah is going to continue to be motivated to do the things that he needs to do as a football player in Detroit. So, all right, guys, make sure you subscribe to Raw Detroit, and I'll be back to you soon with another.